How about some numbers? How about area code 631, Radio Graffiti?
What's up, Ghost Hitman Calls?
Hey, it's a Hitman Calls in the house, man. What up, man?
Man, I'm as happy as could be right now.
Oh, yeah? What's up, man? What happened?
Man, the Knicks beat the shit out of them bitch-ass faces, man. You kidding?
Are you serious? Well, look, I don't like the NBA anymore, man. If you want my opinion, I think the NBA is unoriginal. The lack of poetry in motion, it's going through the motions type of shit. I really don't like the NBA, but I'm glad that the Knicks, the Knickerbockers, are doing their thing, dude.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was so blind as to how much people hate the Knicks. Like, it's just like everybody outside of New York hates them.
Well, it's because they get to play in the Garden, man. The Garden is kind of a historical arena, to play in, I mean, anybody who's a Knicks player, gets to play in that, man. It's a historical deal.
Yeah. And then Charles Barkley, especially, is acting like a fucking Girl Scout whenever he talks about the Knicks. Like, he to this day has admitted that he still holds a grudge over them since 1989.
Yeah, because, you had Patrick Ewing, which was some gigantic fucking gorilla-looking motherfucker. He was like 7'2", and Barkley, even though he's like kind of a fat guy, he was not that tall. I think he was like 6'3", 6'4". But because he was such a, kind of a brute. He was 6'6". I don't know. I've seen the guy. He doesn't look 6'6". But either way, he would bang in the middle there because he was he was kind of a bigger guy. And, Patrick Ewing was kind of a, very tall, very big bone kind of guy. And even though, the franchise put everything behind him, and he didn't do anything. He was a rough player. And not to mention, you got Charles Oakley. Remember the oak tree during that time? That's why.
I will never forget the oak tree. Yo, one of my fondest memories of Charles Oakley was when they were playing, they were playing the Rockets. And he hacked the shit out of Charles Barkley. And then they started fighting.
Yeah.
And Oakley was swinging wildly. And he hit Barkley, and he also hit Hakeem Olajuwon.
You can't have that today. I mean, believe it or not, I wish that the NBA played with that type of passion. Because back then they got into skirmishes because of the heat of the game. Now people, you got that one fool that got suspended at the beginning of the season because he was waving his guns around on Instagram or some shit, and. Yeah, dude. It's changed. It's not about the game anymore, and it's pretty sad. Look. I remember the old Knicks. Remember Skywalker? He won the the 88, I think, or 87 slam dunk contest. I remember those Knicks, dude. And the thing is those guys played with like passion. You know what I mean? Everybody played hard back then, and nobody plays hard anymore, man. Ever since LeBron James came into the league, he ruined the NBA. I used to love the NBA. I've told everybody this. I love the NBA so much that before LeBron James, when he came in, I would say I stopped watching. There's no really correlation with it, but around Obama time, or maybe there is, I don't know. But prior to that, you saw competition. Even at the beginning of the early 2000s, man, with, Shaq and Kobe era, when, they were tearing down the San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and they were dominating the Western Conference. And then you had Allen Iverson with the 76ers with Snow and all those motherfuckers. It was a fucking good time. It was competitive. I miss those days, dude. I'm sorry. I hate to talk about this, but you could put me in front of any game, any regular season game prior to 2008, and I would have loved it, dude. Anyway, I accidentally clicked off the Hitman cause because I was so fucking, talking about NBA and shit. Anyway, sorry, Hitman. I do appreciate that, but I miss those days. I just miss old school basketball. I miss the Los Angeles Lakers, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, man. I mean, those were those were competitive. They got fights on the court, Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, which was the fucking center. And then you had the old school motherfuckers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy and Byron Scott, And then after that, you had the Bruise Brothers, man, from the fucking Detroit Pistons, back to back, which I thought was that was a very dangerous team. And then, of course, the Chicago Bulls right after that, man. So anyway, I miss those days. There was a lot of competition. There was a lot of passion. And the NBA sucks now, in my opinion. It fucking sucks a cock with it.
What have I got? And here I am with my afterthoughts. Now, I have to say, I was very disappointed that Ghost hung up on me because I had more to add. Now, for one thing, I have to partially disagree with him about what he said about the NBA getting softer upon LeBron entering the league. Don't get me wrong, it has gotten softer, but like immediately when he joined the league, I have to disagree. Here's why. Because I've been watching the NBA ever since I was a little kid. So I'd say about 98, 99. And I've watched stuff older than that, and shit. And I'd say there have been a lot of stuff that has happened since 2003 that has been crazy. Like honestly, let's talk about the thing that literally happened a year later, the Pistons-Pacers brawl. Freaking Ron Artest hacked Ben Wallace. Wallace got pissed. Then shit started turning up. Then some fucking gunk in the crowd threw a cup of beer onto Ron Artest and all hell broke loose. Or better yet, let's talk about 3 years after that. The Knicks-Nuggets brawl, where unfortunately my Knicks were getting beat down by the Nuggets. But George Karl, being the worthless asshole that he is, kept trying to pour it on, which led that dude Marty Collins to hack J.R. Smith, and then a big brawl breaks out. Then who could forget the highest point where Melo sucker punched Marty Collins, and then had he not a trip, Jared Jeffries chased after him and he would have caught up to him as well. And actually, since I'm on the subject of that fight, I find it so ironic that when it comes to that fight, a good amount of players that were on the Nuggets at that time joined the Knicks later. For one thing, especially J.R. Smith and Melo, the biggest instigators on the Nuggets side, they wound up joining the Knicks. Ain't it funny like that? But back to the league, not being as good as it used to be. I have to also agree with that. The playing quality of the game has deteriorated. But I have to. But even though he doesn't watch it, I'm sure he would change his tune if he if you watch the playoffs, because the competitiveness in the playoffs definitely has not deteriorated. If anything, it's just as competitive. Well, actually, it depends on how good both teams are. But yeah, and then one point I definitely wanted to bring up was the All-Star game. And now I don't know if he's ever watched the All-Star game, but I know this is something that everybody can agree with me on, and that's the All-Star game nowadays sucks. My God, it sucks. Like this year, I legit didn't watch it just because of how it's been for the past few years, where it's not competitive at all. For one thing, the literally both teams do not play defense at all. No defense whatsoever. And they literally just stand back and are watching each other just run the score up. Like, to this day, in my opinion, the greatest All-Star game will always be in, I think it was 2001, where I think they were in Philadelphia, and this was so crazy. The East were down by at least 20 points or more. Kobe was killing us, but then next thing you know, freaking in the fourth quarter, everything starts to click. They they focus more, and then freaking Marbury, he starts going crazy, just knocking down shot after shot. Literally, him and Kobe were neck and neck, hitting shot after shot. And Marbury, he just had a little more left in the tank to bring it on home, and he wound up fighting, and he wound up winning the fight to bring the score back down. Next thing you know, the East wins the game. Yeah, I definitely would have liked to continue that conversation with Gus, and he definitely did make some great points, and I just wish he didn't hang up on me, but it is what it is. And there's always next time, and also, yes, I was laughing when we were talking about Charles Barkley's height, because it actually is pretty funny that how good he was, and how hard he was able to play despite being undersized as a power forward. And he's listed at 6'6", but Ghost doesn't believe it, and hey, for all we know, he probably isn't. But then again, it wouldn't be the first time that an NBA player has lied about their height. I mean, just look at Kevin Durant. The dude was listed at 6'9", but then next thing you know, he gets exposed, and in reality, he's 7 feet. But it is what it is. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and chill with your boy. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Comment if you feel like it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And as always, my Struggle Vision Productions. I am the Hitman Kaz, and if you see me coming, run.